Hey, we're the Massholes. We're on the West Coast. We're the West Coast Massholes. We're the Massholes on the West Coast. We were from Mass. We were holes when we're there, but we came out here and now we're West Coast Massholes.
Oh boy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the West Coast Massholes. I'm Todd Anderson, and waving over there is Josh Wingate. I am now starting our 15-minute timer, and at the end of it, George Takei will tell us to shut up by saying "Oh my" repeatedly. Josh, where are you? That's a lovely. It looks like you're in a lovely place.
That's where I was this past weekend with my lovely betrothed. We went on a baby moon / birthday adventure to Santa Barbara.
Nice. And it was your birthday. It was your birthday that you were celebrating?
My birthday, yes. I'm big 44.
44. Oh, cool.
Yep.
So so next year you'll have to get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, so they say.
Well, yeah. Some doctors say 50, but others say 45. So you're gonna have to get one. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, anything dealing with anus is just fantastic.
Did you what'd you do in Santa Babs?
We chilled out at a beautiful hotel up there called El Encanto, which was gorgeous, really pretty, and just had a nice relaxing time and did some relaxing, and then we did some relaxing. It was really nice.
You sound still relaxed, like it's lasted all week. The relaxation. You're very mellow.
Yeah, pretty good. I just went for a run too, so I'm a little tired, and it's humid, so I'm sweaty a little bit. And then but yeah, I just ate after that, so now I'm like,
wow, you're in a nice place. I got back. I did a bike ride. I went on a bike ride, but I don't feel mellow at all.
No,
I don't feel at peace or at ease just because I got exercise. They say that happens, but it doesn't happen for me.
Maybe you need to exercise harder. You need to like push it a little harder. Got to go past the comfort zone.
But I wasn't in the comfort zone. I was biking actually, and I was biking early enough in the morning that it was a little bit chilly when I was going downhill. So I was outside the comfort zone.
Why else going downhill? Oh, the wind's a little bit nippy here. Wait, what is that picture? Is that your therapist's office?
No, that's a still from a movie called The Killer Sofa.
Oh.
And it's a New Zealand horror film, and if you'll notice, you see the chair?
Yeah.
Does that look like a sofa?
No, that's a chair.
Yeah. I don't know why they called it Killer Sofa, because it's a killer chair. It's a misnomer of a title, if ever there was one. Terrible. You know what I saw? When I was out on my bike, there was another guy. I was out on the bike path that goes along the channel, in Simi Valley, and there was a guy on a bike, and it was like it looked like a lowrider motorcycle, but it was a bicycle, like the handles, easy rider thing, the handles were high up. And then he had a radio or some kind of music device, and he was cranking like old country music as he was making his way down the bike path. So everyone who came within the realm of this guy on his weird bicycle was subjected to this music. Now I think it was like an old Waylon Jennings song, and I can find that pleasing, but it's weird when people choose, it's like when people in traffic have their windows down and they're just music is cranking, so everybody in the vicinity has to experience what they're experiencing for a few seconds. The narcissism of that is fascinating to me.
Wow. No, yeah. It's, I don't know. Is it narcissism or just entitlement? I don't know. It's same,
Well,
one
I
and the
mean,
same, I guess. One and the same, I guess. Yeah, like,
I would say
yeah.
it's entitlement driven by narcissism, because
Mm,
the the narcissist does not only considers this, doesn't
yeah.
consider anyone else. So
Hmm.
anyone who's cranking their music on a fucking bicycle
Hmm.
next to preserved land for wildlife. I saw many white herons. Is that what they're called? Those white, like, crane looking birds. I saw a bunch of those, and some crazy giant black aquatic bird was like stretching his wings out, like, there's all kinds of wonderful, and squirrels there's wonderful flora and fauna everywhere,
And then here comes this guy.
and
Yeah.
here comes Waylon fucking Jennings. Why am I hearing Waylon Jennings all of a sudden? And
Yeah.
oh, it's this jackass on a bicycle who thinks that everybody should have to listen to his music.
Yeah, that happens on this hiking trail that I frequent here. Um, you'll come across sometimes one person or a group of people, and they're blasting some music. You're in the middle of fucking nature, and you got like, it's just like, my internal being says, throw them off the fucking mountain, grab them and toss them off the cliff. They do not deserve to be here. And but I usually just say, you're doing it wrong.
Maybe what you should do is, when you go out on these jogs and hikes and whatnot, is bring your guitar with you, because you're a musician. And if somebody's coming at you with that music, just take the guitar out, just start aggressively playing it and singing at them.
Yeah. That'd be good. That'd be good. Usually I just stare at them with my death stare and say, you're doing it wrong. But they're so unaware, they don't fucking know.
No. People generally don't know. I was surprised to find out somebody that I know didn't understand the flag code. I was surprised. I just reposted something on Facebook explaining why Blue Lives Matter flag is actually a desecration of the American flag, because it's a
which it
violation.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, a violation of the flag code. And this guy is normally, he's super, progressive dude. But he wrote was, what the fuck is this? And I was like, it's just the flag code, man. It was weird. It's weird. And then
people are on edge, man. People are on edge. I was at a party last weekend, a graduation party of one of my students, and the general populace there is super, super, like, for as far as you can go left. And I can be provocative, as you know, and I can be antagonizing. So his mother, she's from Maine. She and I always go at it, just like poking, and it's all in good fun. At the end of the day, we love each other. It's completely good fun. We know where we lie. So she hates Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan had Alex Jones on the show, and she's like, he's giving him a platform. I'm like, and my perspective is, yes, it's a platform, but he already has a platform, and Rogan is exposing what the other side of the world and 74 million people about who voted for the ogre are listening to, and what type of information they're getting. And I think it's important to understand what type of information people are getting, blah, blah. So I always, anyway, we don't have to get in a debate because I can already see the scowl on your face. But
well, I don't think Joe Rogan should have a platform either, personally. I mean, it's not, if this was the United Fascist States.
He's not a fascist.
He
actually is more in alignment with. But anyways, the whole fucking
I'm on your friend's side. I'm against you on this, because who the fuck is he exposing Alex Jones to? He's not doing a service for anybody, and he's not teaching anybody anything by exposing fucking Alex Jones. The people who like Alex Jones are going to keep liking Alex Jones regardless of who exposes him. Joe Rogan's an asshole.
Okay, see, you would fit right in at this party. I got fucking alienated so fucking fast, Todd, by a couple people.
That's because you love to play the devil's advocate, Josh. You love that.
I did, I know, but it's like, but the point is, some of that fucking reaction is so dangerous. And here's why. I have always, 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 always been on the left side of things. I've always voted that way, and I probably will continue unless the right all of a sudden becomes about humanity. Then I could possibly go that way. I do not identify as a Democrat. I never have. I always said independent because I don't like the labels and all that shit.
Me
But
too.
I have always, 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 always have voted on the left side of things. And me having a different point of view, or having a different point of view that you think I'm having, not you, Todd, but anybody, and then immediately casting me onto the right side of things, like immediately fucking thinking I'm one of these fucking neo-Nazis, is dangerous fucking shit. Because there's a lot of people in the world that are like me, that are much more radical centralists, and that don't believe in extremism either way, who actually, I like to take different points of view, not just take, I like to see different points of views and look and discern for myself, not just what the rhetoric says or what everybody on that side says. I like to go, what could be another reason? What could be another perspective? I like to talk about those things. Now, talking about those things in certain environments, man, is a dangerous thing, and the reaction to me talking about those things is a dangerous thing. I had two like, I mean, crazy flips of reactions by two different people at this party, and where I was like, whoa, like really dark shit. Like, because I had jokingly, because she's so into politics that I bought her a card that says, I love you as much as Trump loves Trump, which is fucking hilarious. It's a funny card, and it would make sense. She would laugh at it. And I write a nice sentiment in there about how I really do love her and how an amazing of a mother I think she is, and the things she's endured, especially during this pandemic. But I was telling a couple of the other people, I'm like, oh yeah, because they all, and this one guy's like, well, there's a lot to unpack there. When I told him I got her that card, and I'm like, no, it's quite simple. It's a funny fucking card. I immediately thought I was a Trumper because I got that card.
And like, he didn't understand that you're making fun of a narcissist. Trump loves Trump. I mean, that's it sounds like your progressive friends are idiots. I mean,
they're not my friends. Put it that way.
All right.
They're not my friends.
I mean, that's dumb. That's just dumb.
No, and it's like immediately I was outcast. Like outcast. I'm like, that's some dangerous shit. That's some dangerous shit. Why? Because if I'm on the same team as you politically, and you're outcasting me, let me remind you fuckers, 74 million. If it became 76 million or 78 million, we'd be in the Trump era part 2. And who knows what would be going on. So you better be fucking opening your arms instead of fucking pushing people away. Especially if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then one guy, he like tried to whisper. He's like, oh, we've got nothing in common. And I heard him. I tapped him on the shoulder and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking joking, man. I'm fucking having a good time with Julie. And he's like, it's been a tough couple of years. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be a couple fucking tough more years if you treat people that way. If you fucking take people who have different points of views or something that might challenge your rhetoric and you throw them on the other side, they might actually go to the other side. Obviously, that's not going to be me. I can think for myself. However, there's other people that do like to be parts of groups. And then they may say something, they might have a different point of view, or they might try to challenge your point of view with a healthy conversation, and you outcast them. They might be like, whoa, they'll find another group, and that other group might be that way. And and they might start looking at things differently. The people are very suggestible. Very suggestible.
Especially if they feel alone.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, that reminds me of, like Facebook groups, I never stay in them very long. And it's not just political, like, like I was invited to, a friend's like just talking about movies group on Facebook. And like after a while, I just got irritated with the group because, you know, you see them, they all have the same opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's specific and weird, you know, because they're like people who love genre movies and stuff. So, you know, they think this horror movie is a piece of shit that I actually don't think is a piece of shit. And they think this movie's like, you know, like LA Story is the worst thing Steve Martin ever did. What the great stuff he did is The Spanish Prisoner. And I'm looking at that going, I'm the opposite. So like if I, you know, if I say that, I get
your opinion is not allowed. Right?
Yeah, so it's not that it's not allowed. It's that like people will pile on you for having any sort of different opinion, and then like on political groups, like there's like a left-leaning, you know, activist group based in this town, in my town, you know, and I tried it for a while, you know, and I know people who stay on it because it's just they like to know that there are other people who are the same political type they are in this rather conservative area, and I get that, but God, they were just if you didn't fall in line, if there was any sort of like nuance that you're like, well, wait, what about this? You know, you're saying making this grand statement, but I consider these things, and then the pile-ons that happen. It's weird. It's very, it's like its own like private little fascist virtual town where if which is super weird because you know it is left leaning, you know, it's supposed to be about humanity and conversation and all that.
Well, so is socialism. So is the National Socialist Party was supposed to be about the people, the German people. It was supposed to be. It was actually a democratic
I mean, that's what Hitler said. Every leader sells that. That's what Trump sold. Trump sold, exactly. This is for you. This is for the American people. That's what I'm doing, is helping you. And you believe it or not, they all do it, you know, and they all, you know, and Hitler's like, I'm a nationalist socialist. No, he wasn't. He was just a fascist. He called whatever he called himself. I mean, nationalist is probably accurate, but socialist, he wasn't. He was a fascist. Any more than Donald Trump is a capitalist. He's not. He's a fucking fascist. He's not. It's just you can label yourself whatever you want. That doesn't mean you are that. And so I understand why people are like, I hear more people complaining about cancel culture than I actually see people getting canceled, right? But there is that, this gives the cancel culture people an argument, that sort of reactionary thing. But you know, that's not everybody. I don't know how you got to this party where there were so many douchebags, but you know, it's not everybody who's that way. It's hard to find a reasonable group, you know, It's hard to find a reasonable group.
No, it's not everybody.
What?
Yeah. And it's like, I think a lot of what you're talking about sorry, I thought you stopped talking because it froze for a second. I think it's a lot of what you're saying is that common enemy theory, syndrome, where people come together and they have a common enemy, and it's so there's that commonality is actually quite toxic, because you never leave those situations feeling good because you're there to be enemies with someone. But if you have a commonality of like solution oriented or challenging the status quo, or like actually challenging, you know, even challenge now this government, this, you know, Biden's state, which it ought to be, because that's what America is supposed to be, is the people running the fucking government. They work for you, and it shouldn't be like, oh, thank God we got him and we're all good. It's like, no. It's like, there's some shit, man. Like, you know, there's some shit you should probably question, you know.
I agree. I think it's the most important thing for all of us, politically speaking, to criticize and question our leaders, whether we voted for them or not. I think you kind of hit on it too, like this reactionary thing. If you're even slightly different than somebody at whatever gathering, whether it be virtual or real, and then there's this fight, and it's because everybody is so accustomed now This was really launched by Republicans and American conservatives. The other side is the enemy. So the left, everybody's been so traumatized by that, by just hitting their heads against the wall, trying to have these conversations with conservatives that you can't have because it doesn't register. It's arguing with a wall. It's absolutely pointless. But I feel like now, that things are slightly different and somewhat better people are in power and we're getting vaccinated and we're getting back together, I still feel like people have that automatic reaction to anyone who's a little bit different than them or disagrees with them even in the slightest way. Enemy, that you become the enemy. And everybody's been conditioned to feel that way. I think you got to take a breath and a step back and really look at reality. But it's hard when our leaders, and I don't just mean political leaders, I mean talk show hosts, like when we have people like Joe Rogan who make these ridiculous statements, and it perpetuates that culture. And it's not, whatever it is, the real culture, not cancel, but whatever the real thing is, that's being everyone who complains about cancel culture on the degree that they do, which is usually people like Joe Rogan and Bill Maher, and then every conservative, all you do is perpetuate cancel culture. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as being reactionary towards you at a party. If you're throwing everybody away who has a dissenting opinion or a slightly different opinion than you, then you're perpetuating this thing that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's not healthy. It's not about individualities and different points of views coming together. It's not about multiculturalism, because that just gets more and more dangerous. You're either like us or you're not.
But it's a problem too, because the other side, who I genuinely think is the problem, and often when lefties are together, they wind up infighting about their opinions about AOC or Hillary Clinton or whatever it is. That's what the left does, because we fight with each other because fighting with conservatives is pointless, but we may be able to sway each other, I guess. But that's not the problem. The AOC and Hillary Clinton aren't our problems. They're not a problem. The real
drink
problem
children's blood, Todd. They drink children's blood. Come on,
well,
you should know this by now.
Yeah, and they run very successful pizza parlors, but that's just business. I don't, I can't weigh in on that. But yeah, it's a bummer. It's just the state we're in. I don't see it ending anytime soon.
No. Especially if that's the situation. Yeah. Especially if the situation is like, if you're not going to open up. My final argument is this: in order for any type of healing or shift or change, someone does have to take the higher road, and they have to, I will use this phrase, reach across the aisle, meaning listen and understand. This was one of my points about listening and understanding. If you're not aware what people are hearing, what type of rhetoric they're getting, and what type of information they're absorbing, how can you then understand them? So if you understand that and you understand what they're being educated with, you can then have understanding and then compassion, because they might not know any better, and then re-education can start.
But I think Josh, part of the problem is when you say that, and like one of the things that conservatives have been screaming about and got Trump into office is, why won't you lefties just listen to other people's ideas? But they're not ideas.
I'm not talking about listening.
Well, I know.
And re-educate. The final point is re-education.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is the problem is when you say stuff like that, you sound like that's why people on the left might be like, oh, whoa, different ideas. I'm over that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what's happening.
Well, that's their fucking fault and problem, because that makes them no better. That makes them no better than a far right.
They are better than a far right person. I mean, that's the first thing to remember, because they're not on the far right. So you're automatically better. I don't believe in this lefty extremism thing. What is that? I mean, like,
I experienced it the other night. I
That's
experienced
lefty
it the other night.
extremism, like a little bit of difficulty at a cocktail party.
I'm talking about ostracizing someone.
Were you?
That's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true. But when you say you were ostracized, were you thrown out of the party?
No, I'm talking about like a direct interaction. If I'm like, if me and you were talking about the color blue and how much we love blue, and then you're like, you know what I think's a better color, green, and immediately I'm like,
oh,
like I immediately, my entire body language changes and how I treat you, and I start whispering and talking to other people about you loud enough, or they're so dumb that they're like, blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da.
yeah.
Da, da, da. When that shit starts happening, man, that's some dangerous shit. The next step is, listen, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and your boomer ass ways. You're the one who ruined our fucking country anyways, you boomers. and then now you want to blame somebody else. But that type of shit, is it? No. Was I kicked out of a place? No. But that's the next step. And it's the start of that, right? And for someone who I can be socially uncomfortable, socially awkward. I have social anxiety or something like that. So I like to fit in. I like to have a group of people I can fit in. And it doesn't mean I didn't have people there. But what I'm saying is when that type of stuff starts to happen, now all of a sudden people's truth and true thoughts and ideas are not welcomed. And because if you share and you have an idea that's different, you're going to be ostracized. That's some dangerous and toxic shit. That leads to Nazism on both sides. And I will say that again, on both sides, because if some leftists had their way, they'd line up all these people of right-wing conservatism and they'd have them killed and they wouldn't think about it. They wouldn't think about it. There's a dehumanization that can happen on both sides. That's why I say they're one and the same. My values are left, but it's one and the same. If your values start dehumanizing another group of humans, that's some toxic shit. That's some really, really toxic shit. And that leads to bad shit. Like, I'm not as eloquent as Jordan Peterson, but I highly recommend listen to him on some of this stuff. It's how socialistic and Russia became a huge fucking disaster, and all those people were killed. Farmers, because they had more food than other people, were murdered. It's like that stuff is dangerous shit, and those are left ideas. Those are left ideas of socialism, and left ideas of like spreading the wealth. That's and so see me just saying that I sound like a fucking right-wing nut, but that's not right-wing.
Well, sure. I mean, yeah. I just, as far as people killing farmers, I mean, I wouldn't call that left-leaning. I'd call that insane fucking insanity.
That started with socialistic views.
Well, then that's, people are dumb. It just because somebody identifies as left doesn't mean they're not dumb. And that's what we're up against. There's a lot. Well,
then I'm inviting you to look at there is an extreme left. There is an extreme left.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think, as far as for me personally, if somebody doesn't like what I say and they block me or turn away from me, I don't give a shit. I don't need those people in my life.
I don't care. Yeah,
I don't need them, and I don't turn towards other groups when one group won't have me. So I'm fine.
But that's you. That's you. That's you, and that's me. I'm very similar. I'm looking at a different picture because I do think, like you said, people are dumb and people are very suggestible. And you're not. You're a thinker. You fucking question things. I'm a thinker. I question things. A lot of people don't question things, hence fucking driving down the fucking bike path with music, hence hiking with music, hence fucking wearing the 1990s fashion clothes because they're fucking being sold at the cheap stores now. People just follow the trends and they do what they do what the radio tells them to do and what the TV and what other people tell them to do because they're afraid of being ostracized. That is a general populace. That is my concern. I can fucking stand up to these people and look them in the eye, which I did, and I did talk to them that night about it. Because I don't give a shit. Because I want me like, hey, before you fucking cast anything, know who you're talking to, because of that danger. So yes, my concern is more about the general populace, not about you, not about me. Because I think you and me, yes, I believe that if that happened to you, you'd be like, these fucking people are idiots. I'm not going to fucking talk to them. Same thing with me. I'm not going to fucking deal with that. I'm talking about on a greater level. That's dangerous. That's all.
That's a good point, man. Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So hashtag love everybody.
Except Nazis.
Fuck Nazis.
Fuck you. You guys aren't people. Sorry, you're not people.
Fuck them.
See you next time on West Coast.
Feed them to the chair. Feed them to the chair.
Fucking get the Nazis on the chair.
The chair looks hungry.
This has been a Blursh production. Blursh.